Rob, for the second time in a couple of months, we're facing Lincoln at the Broadfield Stadium. Can I get your thoughts ahead of that one?
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I think we was talking before about their depth in squad. They've got some seriously good players. They're all four of their strikers for me personally, whichever one's play a real problem. And I think it's going to be a tough game. It's probably our toughest test this year. I thought it was a brilliant performance for us to get the win against them. But I thought they were excellent. I thought they're probably the best team we played. So we know it's going to be a really tough day. But it's something, the FA Cup brings a bit of magic, brings a good feeling around, and looking forward to attacking the game, especially the run we've been on. I just want the lads to carry that momentum forward and keep improving. And it'll be a really good test against a very good team.
Yeah, exciting, isn't it? Being in the second round, knowing that only one win away, you could be playing the likes of sort of Man City away, all the big Premier League teams, and also some good, obviously, Championship teams as well. So it adds a little bit of sort of spark, doesn't it? When you get through that first round, you just think, I really want to get through to that third round. As you said before, it can be a good moneymaker as well.
Yeah, it's good. It's brilliant for clubs all round. It's good for the players, it's good for the fans. It's just a brilliant occasion, the FA Cup, and it always has the carrot of the big games and the carrot of cup upsets. But obviously, the first thing is Lincoln, and probably one of the toughest draws we could get. Thankfully, we're at home at least, and we just have to. I think the big thing for me is, we want to win the game 100%, but I really want to see the sort of consistency and the improvements that we've been showing and the way we've been playing. The lads have been brilliant in terms of taking on the messages. I think it's getting clearer and clearer after each game, and I just want us to take that into Saturday. And to test ourselves against one of the strongest teams in the league.
Yeah, do you see it as a benefit that we've only just played Lincoln, and does it make the sort of preview a little bit earlier? Because rather than watching clips of Lincoln playing against other teams, you can actually this time watch clips of, I suppose, you play Lincoln and beat them 3-0 at home. Does that make it a little bit easier?
Yes and no, because I think, like we said, it was such a tough game. We had to defend for our lives, and the lads showed some real determination and grit that night. And it was a brilliant night and occasion. But I think when you look at their squad and the changes that they made when they played the last game, and the players that they can bring in, they can give different dimensions to the game. So we'll review them as we do. We'll prepare as we always do. I'm trying to sort of get the message over to the lads. We can prepare all week, but like Rotherham changed 5 players, changed system, changed shape. So you have to always be adaptable and be ready to go no matter what someone throws at you. And I thought the lads did that well Saturday. So I'm hoping that we can continue that and take that into this Saturday.
Yeah, what's the mood been like in camp? I can imagine it was a great feeling, back at the training ground the week after the win, because so many of our performances have deserved 3 points. So you must feel like a big weight lifted off the shoulders for a lot of the players in there.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the 3 points come off the back of progressively better and better performances and hard work. And I thought, the pleasing thing for me on Saturday with Rotherham, especially the first half, was a continuation of the second half in Bristol. Other than the fact we just, when we got to the crossing areas, the crossing zones, we was putting the ball in the box. Our forward running was excellent, and our wide play was good. So, again, it's just a case of not getting too high or too low with it, but just making sure we stay consistent and keep building the reasons why we get the results, the reasons why we're keeping clean sheets, and keep doing those things right. But like you said, the challenge to the players is, keep getting better at it. Keep improving every day.
Perfect, Mark.
Brilliant. You mentioned sort of the magic of the FA Cup and that. What does the FA Cup mean to you? And have you got any sort of specific great memories from the FA Cup in your playing days?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I never got too far down the line in the competition, but I remember when I was at Charlton and we was in League One and we drew Spurs away in the third round, and I got to play against likes of Modric's and Defoe's, Crouch's, and I think Bale might have played, I can't remember, but all these top superstars. And when you're a young player making your way through the lower leagues, it's a great opportunity to test yourself against the very best. And I was pleased with my performance that day, and probably gave me a little bit of belief and hope that I could get to the Premier League if I kept working hard and I kept improving. So the FA Cup's a great occasion for that, in terms of if you do ever play against higher or lower opposition, you can really show you where you're at as an individual. But yeah, it's something that I really enjoy. I think the best thing about it is it is a bit of it's not, I say, a release from the league, but it's about winning the game, isn't it, ultimately? And the FA Cup is more about winning. But I think for us and the way we do things, we want to keep the performances and the continuation of how we played, because for us to continue doing well and progressing and climbing up the league table, we need to be consistent with our performances, and we need to make sure that we have that solid base, and it's the togetherness that will get us out, will keep us in this league and keep us improving. So just a bit of everything on Saturday, but something I'm looking forward to, especially against such a good team. It's going to be a really tough test.
Yeah, and you've obviously got a long list of injuries, and obviously that's not a good thing at all, but how has it sort of benefited you in being able to see all the players from the squad, because you might not have had that if everybody was fit all the time?
Yeah, and I think also it gives players an opportunity that they deserve and maybe haven't been able to get because of other people playing well or whatever it might be. So, and I think it shows that, I think Saturday when we had 2 goalies on the bench and every single player, every outfield player was on the pitch, just showed that what I was so pleased with the takeaway was that everyone's in it for the cause, fighting for the cause and going on, and doing everything they can for each other. Gav took a massive whack to his ribs and carried on playing, and Raf coming on at the end, and it's one of them ones where football's. I always say to lads, the team that starts this first game of the season to the one that finishes will be completely different. And you have to just keep being consistent and keep doing well. And one little disappointment on a Saturday could turn into the best Saturday night of your life because you've come on and scored the winner, or you're starting the next game, whatever it might be. So hopefully we can not have as many injuries, or we've been unlucky. A lot of them, well, 80-90% of them, will impact injuries, which I think is just the physical robustness of the league. But as we adapt to that, and as the players get more opportunities, get more experience, I feel we'll get better and we'll be able to manage it more.
And have you got anyone back for Saturday that's been on the injury list? Do you know?
I think it is as was. We'll have to assess a few people like Harry Forster and that close to coming back. So Carrie had a dead leg, so we just have to monitor that. You have to be careful with them once they go past a certain point because they can turn into something more serious. A couple of lads might need a bit of rest and TLC with Tuesday as well, because you've got to have half an hour on Tuesday. But no, we'll have to assess it. But I think we're pretty much as was, to be honest, other than Brad coming back from the suspension.
Yeah, and looking ahead to Tuesday quickly, Charlton, a special one for you. Are you looking forward to that, going back to the Valley?
Yeah, do you know what I am? It's one of the fixtures I look for first when we come in, because I never got a chance. I've never had a chance to go back as a player. Right. The paths never crossed. So it's my home club, and it's where I come through the academy, and means a lot to me. Being a Charlton fan, and there'll be like friends and family in the crowd and stuff. So obviously won't change the fact that I'll be going there to upset a lot of people. But no, it'll be a nice personal touch to go back, and it's such a brilliant place to play, and hopefully the lads enjoy it as well, the occasion and the game. But we'll worry about that after Saturday.
Thanks, Rob. Cheers.
Jeremy, thank you for joining us. More FA Cup action for us to look forward to this weekend. What's the mood in camp like before that one?
Mood's very good. We've tightened it up this past few games, and feel like we're on a good run of form. So the mood's been good every day. Even when we weren't doing well, the mood was good. And so I think you don't get too low, you don't get too high. So that's been one of the better things about this team.
Yeah, it must have been really pleasing for the players, because so many of the recent performances have deserved 3 points. So to actually come away with 3 after a game must have been a bit of a weight lifted off the shoulders. Is that the right way to put it?
Yeah, I'd say there's a bit of relief, but every game you kind of treat as its own game. But that feeling of winning a game, especially at home at the Broadfield, that's what we chase, and hopefully that'll happen a lot more.
Yeah, and obviously you're familiar with the English game now, so you'll know what the FA Cup will mean to a lot of fans, staff players as well. So we know that one win, could see us playing some pretty big teams at some pretty big stadiums like we've already had this year against Brighton. So it must be an exciting prospect for the players.
No, playing at the Amex was an amazing feeling. So I think everybody loves those opportunities to play against, whether it's a big club or at least a club that's higher up. So we know we have a tough one against Lincoln City, but after that, if we're able to win, everyone, fans, players, everyone will be looking forward to it.
Yeah, and how's the sort of time with Rob been? We've had a couple of months now of Rob Elliott's football. We've been settling in. Obviously, you've played in a couple of different positions as well. How have you been finding it?
Good. I think it takes a few weeks for the managers and players to gain an understanding of each other, but once that happens and you understand what he wants, how he wants it, things get a lot easier, and I think that's clicked right now. And we've still got a little work to do, but we're getting closer, and it's been good.
Yeah, and some changes for you. Happy Thanksgiving. I suppose it's the first one you've spent over here, not in the States, so it must be a bit of a change. How have you been finding it?
It's all right. I mean, I surely won't be eating tons of food and watching American football or doing anything like that, but I'll have a little bit of turkey tonight at dinner. It's bigger than Christmas over there, to be honest. So it's a shame not to be over there, but I'm very happy to be here.
Perfect.
Brilliant. Growing up in America, the FA Cup, what did it mean? Did you watch it a lot? Did you follow it a lot? Does it mean a lot to Americans?
I wouldn't say it means as much to Americans as it does over here. No American is as passionate about a specific team as fans over here. So you'd watch it, and you'd see some minnows playing some big teams, and that would be interesting. But no, you don't get the passion for the FA Cup that you get over here. The Prem's probably way more important.
Yeah, and on Saturday we saw you play in a slightly different position to what you had been. Have you got a favourite position? Because you played really well in that on Saturday. But is there any position you particularly like?
Not really. I think that's one of my biggest assets is I can play all over the place. And what I tell them is if I'm on the pitch, that's all that matters. So wherever it is, left wing, in the middle, slightly further up, further back, that doesn't matter. I'm just happy to be on the pitch.
Yeah, and after Saturday's game, I said how well you played to Rob Elliot, and he said you're one of the most technically gifted players he's ever worked with. That must be nice to hear, mustn't it?
It is. It's always nice when you get a compliment, especially from your gaffer. But there's, that's one of the things I bring to the team, and you try to have balance in the team. So there's other players that offer different assets and traits. So I'm just happy that he says that, but it's glad I can bring something to the team.
Yeah, and it's coming up almost a year now since you've been at Crawley, isn't it? I think. How have you found the time? There's been a lot of changes, isn't there? And it must be exciting for you now to be playing at some massive stadiums on Tuesday night. You're playing at the Valley against Charlton. It's sort of from where you started with Crawley to where you are now. It's been quite a big journey, hasn't it, in a year?
It has, and I wouldn't have expected to be where we are now, me or the team. But you're right, playing it. We'll play at St Andrews later in the year, and it's been great. I've watched some games when I was back home, and you see some of these teams in the Prem, and you go to a Reading or a Wigan, and I've watched plenty of those games before 10 years ago. And that's one of the great things of playing English football is that you play all over the place, and against teams that historically have been great, and some that are, some places you never even heard of. So that's been one of the biggest things that I've enjoyed since I've been over here.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jeremy. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.
Cheers.